Let's say you have the opportunity to create your idea of a perfect child. Maybe you want a child with blue eyes, blonde hair, a high IQ level, and a high metabolism. You can alter any genes you want, but at the cost of your child will grow up without the honor of receiving your inherited traits, as well as little to no individuality. Is designing your perfect child really worth taking away their individualism and ending the generations of your family's unique characteristics? Because eventually, this is what could happen. Genetic engineering has become a marker of the new age. We have learned to build spacecrafts, develop advanced information technologies, and are constantly trying to become gods by controlling the reality and manipulation of genes. Although the idea seems extremely tempting, it is accompanied by a number of negative issues which, if being taken seriously, make it clear that genetic engineering is a dangerous step towards the destruction of the human race in the world. Human genetic engineering is the alteration of an individual's genotype with the aim of choosing the phenotype of a newborn or changing the existing phenotype of a child or adult. It is speculated that genetic engineering could be used to change physical appearance, metabolism, and even improve mental faculties like memory and intelligence. This all seems great when you write it on paper, but because of the safety, ethical, and societal issues, I believe human genetic engineering should not be legalized. First, by trying to change the genes, we commit a crime against nature. Everything in the ecosystem of our planet is interrelated and interconnected, and changing one element can have a dramatic effect on the function as a whole. Yes, it has been said that genetic engineering will be able to increase life expectancy, but will our natural resources and the economy of the world be able to sustain an ever-growing population with an extended life expectancy? Not only that, but there are also safety concerns with the genetic engineering process. Problems occurring with the transformation of genes could cause multiple or incomplete insertions or insertions into the wrong locations. Until the transformation process is perfected, which it may never will be, mistakes during this phase have potential to cause more harm than good. Another safety concern often raised involves the fact that most genes have more than one effect. For example, in the late 1990s, scientists discovered a gene that is linked to memory. Modifying this gene in mice greatly improved learning and memory, but it also caused increased sensitivity to pain, which is obviously not a desirable trait to have. Moreover, genetic engineering is also a serious ethical problem. Trying to change the laws of nature, a person tries to act as a god. Such attempts make people doubt their place in the universe and their role in the society. The idea that a human being can influence the world so much is overwhelming, but at the same time it raises an important issue. Although being able to make immediate changes in today's reality, a person is totally unable to predict long-term effects. Thus, playing the role of the god, the mankind does not bear any responsibility for the actions performed. Many ethical questions arise when thinking about genetic engineering. Should parents be allowed to manipulate the genes of their children to select for certain traits when the children themselves cannot give any consent? Suppose a mother and father select an embryo based on its supposed genetic predisposition to musicality, but the child grows up to dislike music. Will this alter the way the child feels about its parents and vice versa? This would then change the natural parent-child relationships. Also, opponents of genetic engineering argue that it would reduce the human beings as mere objects. That they particularly oppose the pre-selection of human traits and the cultural construction of people as biologically perfectible artifacts. Along with these ethical issues, the social issues are just as concerning. Will genetic engineering result in genetic discrimination between those who have been genetically enhanced and those who have not? Molecular biologist Lee M. Silver has stated that the use of genetic engineering to design children will be spread through what he calls free market eugenics. Wealthy families will opt to design their child with genetic advantages because other families are doing so. Silver believes this use of germline genetic engineering will mean wealthy families pass down enhanced traits to their children, potentially disadvantaging poorer families that cannot afford the technology. In other words, because it is not feasible for everyone to have access to this type of expensive technology, only the most privileged members of society will be able to have designer children that possess greater intelligence or physical attractiveness. This may create a genetic aristocracy and lead to new forms of inequality. Genetic engineering is an interesting technology which makes many scientists forget about any precautions. However, nobody can really predict what consequences it will have in the future. Due to the numerous successful genetic modifications in laboratory animals, it will only be a short time until human beings are able to change their physical, cognitive, and emotional capacities by modifying their genes. The question is, even if we are able to do such things, should we do them? Marketing the ability to specify our children's appearance and abilities encourages a grotesque consumerist mentality toward children and all human life. Fostering the notion that only a perfect baby is worthy of life threatens our solidarity and support for people with disabilities and perpetuates standards of perfection set by a market system that caters to political, economic, and cultural elites. Channeling hopes for human betterment into preoccupation with genetic fixes shrinks our already withered commitments to improving social conditions and enriching cultural and community life. So because of the issues that have been presented, genetic engineering should not be legalized.